Welcome everyone to the live Q&A with Laura Hot Takes Madsen. We're super pumped for this. And like I said, we'll dive right in. One of the 4 pillars of your data governance chat was people and how you can't do the work without people, right, Laura? Well, hey, that plays right into this Q&A. So everyone joining in right now, we can't do a loaded Q&A without you sending in questions right there on the event platform. They're going to be fed to me from backstage. You might get chosen, so stick around. We do already have one queued up for you, Laura, so let's go. Okay. What are some baby steps we can take today to start practicing Agile data governance?
Okay, baby steps. Well, you know, I love it when people get in a room on a whiteboard, well, like virtually, and write down what you want your data governance to achieve, right? Obviously, you know, you could take that and branch off into like a Kanban board or some other agile iterative functions, but the brainstorming around governance actually creates a little bit of energy, and I think that's really hard to find with data governance because this is a boring topic. You know, it's hard to get excited about it except when you're with a bunch of your data nerd friends, but for most organizations, data governance is just a tough row to hoe. Yes, I grew up in the middle of the country. So yeah, to me, it's like get in a room and start writing down all the crazy things you would like your data governance function to do, to be successful at. I mean, keep it to your primary categories. Don't have it be something it's not, but yeah.
Great. Okay, so step 1, brainstorm. Do you have any recommendations for who to follow on LinkedIn or Twitter or other sources to learn more about the data governance space?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, besides me.
Gotta plug some other people, give some clout to other people here, Laura.
No, just kidding. Me? No. So there is Nicola Askham, and I'm probably not pronouncing her name right, but I actually follow her. I adore her. She's amazing. She's called the Data Governance Coach. She's probably the first one that really pops to mind for me. So yeah, that would be probably like number 1 for me. And there's others, but I'd have to noodle on it a little bit.
Okay, so I got an interesting one here from the live chat, and it's kind of touching back to that people pillar, right? So what do you think about this? Will AI eliminate the people pillar altogether or at all?
No, it won't eliminate us. I'm pretty sure there's some dystopian movie about that, right? Maybe a couple. And I would love to make a whole bunch of like MCU references right now and nerd out with you, but I won't. So you know, I think one of the challenges we have with AI and ML, and if you're doing it right, it's really the ML first kind of scenario. It will just do dumb stuff with data faster because it doesn't understand context. So we're going to need a lot more people to make sure that the data is clean first. And if you guys can get these solid data governance functions up and running and really sort of as a part of that, make sure that data quality follows in line, then you actually can achieve a lot more with your machine learning and artificial intelligence activities. And I just don't see that happening anytime soon because most organizations still to this day, like currently as of an hour and a half ago, still don't do a very great job about even having people dedicated to data quality. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't see that happening, and I certainly don't see that happening soon.
Okay. So we got a question from a product manager of data content. Any tips or examples on how data PMs and data governance work together?
Oh, well, they should, huh? So data PMs, so the project managers, and then data governance professionals. Is that the question?
Product managers and data governance working together.
Okay, all right. You know, I think for every organization that it's a little bit different because we don't have a very good standard way of thinking about what it means to have a product, like a data product in most organizations. So I've worked with several that focus on that product mindset, and it's different in each organization. But what I would say is, and this is probably an odd thing, but what is probably most important is understanding the boundaries between those roles. Because what ends up happening a lot that I've seen is kind of this thing, right? Where it's like, oh, I thought that you were doing that. What? I thought that that was your job. And then really basic stuff gets missed. So to me, it's, yeah, you got to work together, get into, again, like a conversation, understand where the roles really delineate extremely well between those functions is probably the first stop.
Okay, so you kind of talk about brainstorming and working together. So this next question might play into it. Do you think tackling data catalog, business glossary, and data quality all at the same time, right? Is that too large a scope to get started on data governance?
So catalog, glossary,
Data
governance,
quality.
literacy, quality, yeah. I mean, unless you have a team of 200 people and you, and I know that those exist, right? But yeah, I'm really one of those advocates, and this is true for almost everything, including data governance, is like laser focus, And one of the great things about Agile is, you can kind of move through that iteratively really quickly. But I want you to be laser focused on something that will provide value and then get that out the door, and then provide another value and get that out the door, and just keep doing that. Because then you're providing tangible value to people. And as soon as you start doing that, then, it's a heck of a lot easier to say that you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, awesome. And real quick, just a reminder, make sure everyone's on mute. We don't hear any background noise to keep this thing running smoothly. So if you notice your mic is on, let's shut that off real quick. Another question for you, Laura. What do you suggest for engaging the executive leaders? We had someone say that they've tried holding bi-weekly calls and sending weekly summary emails, and they're still not engaged or giving data governance the attention that it needs.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it is one of probably the biggest questions I get. One of the biggest issues that we have for data governance is making sure that we have good executive stakeholder support. What I have found is that this traditional way of thinking about data governance with the councils and committees actually gives. So here's a hot take. It puts people off the hook. In between those meetings, they don't have to worry about it. They got no skin in the game, right? And then they go to the meeting and you have so much to cover with them. You don't know really where to start. So you start usually with the thing that you're thinking about that day, or something that's been a burning platform for weeks. And they take you off onto another thing, and then boom, the meeting's over and you got another 2 weeks or more to worry about it. And they forgot about the topic before they walked out the door. Right. And then that just keeps happening, and then they get bored, and then they stop coming, and then you're done and it's over and you don't have an executive stakeholder. I've seen that happen 1,000 times. So I actually think that when you get your executive stakeholder, you have to there's got to be a lot more skin in the game. It's no more like you get off the hook and you attend a meeting once a month for an hour and pretend that the rest of the time doesn't matter. They have to really understand that data governance can and should be driving data usage. And that's why those 4 categories are so critically important. Look, at the end of the day, no executive is going to give you support if you're not delivering value. So just as much of that is on you and your ability to deliver value as it is on them and their willingness to support you.
Right. Sure. Okay. So, wow, time flies. We literally have 2 minutes left. This one is a fun one. Does data governance just need a new name? No one really agrees on its meaning, right? And it really has to have more enablement aspects and problem solving to be successful. So does it just need a new name?
Yeah, gosh. I mean, honestly, if we could get a bunch of like people together that work in the data industry and recast a whole bunch of names, so that would be great. I know a lot of people get freaked out about the word governance, and so it kind of stops it in its tracks. And so, yeah, potentially we could rename it and see if that gives us a little bit more traction. You could do that in your own organization and not necessarily have to worry about it from an industry perspective. And I'm here to say that I would rename quote unquote master data management in a heartbeat to primary data management. So that would be my vote before data governance, is it should be primary data management. So there you go.
So you're already taking steps in that direction. That's pretty cool. Laura, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I'll encourage everyone to go back to that main stage in the platform and get ready for our next session. Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll be sticking around in the platform. And if your question didn't get answered, feel free to keep sending them in. Tag Laura. What you got going on today, Laura? You're just hanging out with us, right?
Right.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining. Head back to main stage now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.